there was a man who talked to Swami Kriyanandaji one time, and he said, my day begins when I come home from work and I take my bath, I go into my meditation room and I meditate and I feel the presence of God. And he said, that's when my life begins. And Swamiji thought, what a waste of the whole day. What happens to the whole rest of the day? And so the teachings are for integration into everyday life, not just the half an hour or whatever that a person is meditating for. We should have energy and magnetism, joyfulness, love, peace, light. As you meditate, you feel that, and you can't help but share that with others. And so the purpose of the spiritual teachings is not to compartmentalize things. Well, this is when I find God, this is when I'm with my family, this is when I work, and this is when I pray. No, it should be all brought together. And once we're able to do that, then we realize that we have a portable paradise. We can take that anywhere that we go, and we can feel the presence of God. And not only that, but bring it with other people, to other people. We must make a great spiritual effort in everything that we do. I want to be successful in everything, not just in my time when I meditate, but in my business presentations, also to draw inspiration, in my family life, in my Hindi classes that I'm taking, and everything. I want to be able to bring the centeredness, the clarity, the magnetism, the energy to everything that I do. And that's what the yogic path is about. It's not only I meditate and I'm going into samadhi. It takes a great deal of energy and focus and centeredness and awareness and perception to go into higher states of awareness. And Sister Gyanamata said something very beautiful. She was Yoganandaji's foremost woman disciple. She said, your religion or your spiritual practices will be tested in the cold light of day. And so as you go out, how well did you meditate? How centered were you at work? How were you with your spouse? How were you with your children? How did things go? And that's how you know how centered and how deep you've gone into your spiritual practices. Swamiji told of, Kriyanandaji told of a man who, when Swamiji lived in Vashishta Guha for, I think it was about a month, in seclusion, and then he was one of the busiest people that I know. He was always doing various projects and writing and lecturing and traveling around the world, and he integrated his life beautifully in God consciousness with seva and serving and giving, and but being centered all the time. And he said when he was there for that period of seclusion that there were people there who was supposedly in seclusion or retreat or meditating. He said they were just lying around sleeping all day. Now that's not a spiritual life. There was a man who Yoganandaji saw who was on the, I think it was somewhere in America, and he was very disheveled. His hair was dirty, his clothes were dirty. And Master looked at him and he said, well, what's wrong with you? And he says, oh, I'm a renunciate. And Master said, no, you're not. Now you're attached all over again to disorder. So being disorderly, not being clear and focused and energetic and magnetic, it's not the spiritual life. That's a mistake on people's part. We have to integrate everything. And yet, here we are in the city. We're around a lot of noise, we're around a lot of traffic, we're around barking dogs, we're around adharmic situations, emotional situations, rajasic people, or outward energy, rajasic energy. And how are we going to be able to live a spiritual life? Well, I didn't name the masters of our path, but if you think about it, many of the great ones lived in the world, but they weren't of the world. And you think of like Lahiri Mahashaya, Babaji said to him, once he blessed him, he gave him Kriya Yoga Diksha. Lahiri Mahashaya was in a very elevated state, for 7 days. And finally he could barely break it. He came out and he saw his guru there, and he said, "Oh, I want to stay here." And Babaji said, "No, no, no. Your role is to be in the world and to show people that they can bring these practices, these teachings, these qualities, these attitudes into everything that they do." He said, "Go back to your job, go back to your spouse, go back to your life where you were living, and take this consciousness with you." And the same when Master Swami Sri Yukteswarji gave Guruji his first touch of bliss, of samadhi, of ecstasy. And then Master, he came out of it. Swami Sri Yukteswarji was there, and he said, "Now let's fetch a broom and let's sweep the balcony." And he was showing him that in every situation you can be in that uplifted consciousness, you can be open to the flow of divine grace. And Yoganandaji said to him at one point, a little while after this experience, he said, "Guruji, I don't think I've found God yet." And Swami Sri Yukteswarji said, "Well, what are you looking for? Are you looking for phenomena, visions, experiences?" And he said, "You will know that you have found God when you feel His joy in your meditations, and when you feel His guidance in your life, even in the details." And Master thought, "Well, I have that." And I was thinking about that. All of us have tasted a little bit of joy in meditation or in our lives, and we felt the guidance of God. We're heading in that direction. And so this is the proof that we have that consciousness, is that grows little by little. You have it in meditation, and you feel the guidance in your life, even in the details of your life. And I was thinking, in everything that you do, once you begin to feel that guidance and feel enveloped in joy and clarity and focus, and then whatever you need in your life, when you become magnetic spiritually, and that comes from deep meditation. It doesn't come from just hoping and wishing. It comes from the sadhana. Then when that happens, things begin to come into your life that you need. So you become spiritually magnetic, like attracts like. People start to come into your life that are like-minded. Situations that could help you come into your life. Prosperity, things that you need. It may be indeed a kind, it may be in things that you need, it may be in money. Things begin to come. Maybe spiritual books come into your life. Various things. But as you begin to practice more and more, you find that your life becomes more and more flooded with the things that you need, that are just drawn from your magnetism. And then from that center and from those attributes and things that come, you'll be able to go out and do what you need in the world.